Hello and welcome to NONI, Yanga's flagship talk show where we discuss the topics that you, our amazing viewers at home, are talking about just a little bit louder. I'm Mercy Ajisafe and today I'll be asking my guests whether the modern day feminists are misguided. So who are my guests? Well, you know this is NONI, so we have to bring some amazing people. Joining me today are author and counsellor Amaka Chika Mbonu, artist Bimbi Phillips, and presenter Monique Pink. Welcome everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show. Look at you, all of you looking gorgeous. Now honestly guys, the reason I wanted to do this topic was because I watched a video by a political commentator, conservative American political commentator, Candace Owen. Now in this video she was basically talking about how she's always been a feminist. You know, she was always really into feminism growing up as she was working her way through her career, and then suddenly as an older woman now, she's found herself husbandless and childless. And she feels like feminism sold her a yarn. So she was like, listen, young ladies, feminism is a scam, it's a lie, don't do it. Like, this is where I am, I don't have any babies and I don't, you know, have a husband. Right. Now I thought this was really interesting because I think that a lot of us make this mistake of thinking that feminism and misandry are mutually exclusive. There's a real difference between women who are fighting for equality and women who don't like men. So I thought I'd invite some interesting people here. You know, Auntie Amaka, you are married, you're a married woman who is also extremely successful in your own right. Bimbi, you're a young man and you can tell us what you think in your opinion. And of course, Monique, as a single woman, I thought I needed to get you in here because who run the world? Girls. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. We're not doing that. Well, we kind of are, hello, but no, we're definitely not doing that. I just wanted to find out whether you think that, you know, modern day feminists are a little bit misguided. Now, before I go there, I actually wanted to very quickly, so we're all on the same page for the viewers as well, the definition of feminism, what is it? It's the theory of the political, economic and social equality of the sexes. Now, brief history, from 1948 to 1920, you had the first wave of feminism. That was a period of feminist activity. Then you had the second wave of feminism, which was a period of feminist activity that was thought to begin in the United States in the early 1960s. That lasted approximately 2 decades. I'm talking about Gloria Steinem et al. Now, in the 1990s, you had the third wave of feminism, which is associated with the emergence of Riot Girl, the feminist punk subculture in the early 1990s in Olympia, Washington. And then in 2010, approximately, we have the fourth wave of feminism that began around 2012 and is associated with the use of social media. Now, key issues include the fight against street and workplace harassment, campus sexual assault, which is a real thing, especially in Nigerian universities, and rape culture. This is basically what modern day feminists are fighting against. So, Bimbi, do you think that modern day feminists are misguided in their fight?
The fact that you're starting with a guy.
I had to listen, this is NONI, baby. Listen, let me just sit my listen, this is NONI, go right ahead.
It's the right time to say ladies first of all. Yeah, I think we first need to differentiate the difference between what people think feminism is and the output of the circumstances that life has done on some people. A good example, it's like a young black man saying, I can't get a job because I'm black, not because I haven't made sure I'm qualified enough for the job.
What point are you trying to make?
So what I'm trying to say is, I think some people have used the word feminism as an excuse for their predicaments.
Okay, their predicaments.
And we need to very much understand what feminism is, especially from their point of view.
So what does feminism mean to you as an African? Where are you from, Bimbi?
I'm from Nigeria.
I had a feeling, you know.
Yeah, I'm from Nigeria.
So as a man, what does feminism mean to you? When you hear women say they're feminists, what does that mean to you?
Okay, let me start with the definition, which I think feminism is. It's equal opportunity between men and male and female. Personally, I don't understand the concept of feminism because I don't think there should be anything even called that in the first place. I think if we're working together and we're doing the same job, we should be paid the same way.
But then that's why feminism actually exists, because that is not the case. Let's talk about the wage gap. I love this because there are many reasons why feminism is still relevant. Now, we're going to talk about what you just said, the wage gap. Do you guys realize that women still earn 77 cents for every dollar a man makes? So you're right. If we're doing the same job, should we not be earning the same? Amaka, please.
You see, I kind of agree with some of the things he said, but what I want to say is, or rather, it's a valid point that we need to really define what feminism is. Is it fair that the statistics you've mentioned about 77 cents to the dollar. Absolutely not. So I actually had a discussion with my daughter because honestly, as a woman and a Nigerian woman, I have never really identified with feminism until I understood what it was about. And what my daughter says it's about is equality, what you said, political, social, and economic equality. I agree with that. However, because when you talk about modern day feminism, I can't say I absolutely know what it is, but from what you're saying, if it's that radical, then I kind of agree with Bimbi that it's like life happens to people, but it's not necessarily because, sometimes it is because you're a woman, but it may not necessarily be because of your gender. So they need to kind of, unless I'm just being ignorant, they need to actually define what is feminism. You've talked about the first wave, the second wave, the third wave, the fourth wave. So what is evolving? The meaning has changed, or for different people, feminism means different things. Because if it's equality for women, if it's that women shouldn't be oppressed, then I'm all for it. I am a feminist. Do I feel marriage and having children has been somehow
Do you feel like it's been oppressive?
I do not. I was a proud wife and mother for at least, when did I say? Maybe almost 20 years of my life. I did this and that, but I can proudly say, and I might get backlash for this, that I was a proud wife and mother. And that in itself is my prerogative, because feminism, if it's about the freedom of women, then it's my prerogative to choose to be a wife and mother.
Why should you get backlash for being a proud wife and mother? I think that is your prerogative. I think feminism means that all of us should have, you know what, the truth about it is because there are a lot of people who also look at women who don't have any families as less than a woman. We belong to a society that, you know, they're kind of like, oh, you don't have a husband, you don't have children, you're less than a woman. And I feel like feminism kind of comes in to say, listen, I'm every bit of, I'm every
woman
much as
anyone
a woman
else.
as anyone.
It's my prerogative.
Whether or not it's my prerogative, it's your prerogative. Definitely looking forward to being a proud wife and a mother, by the way. Listen, Monique, what are you saying? Because do you think they're misguided? You know what I'm saying?
I do believe that they're misguided to a certain extent. Certain rights, like for instance, you know, the wage gap and equality, just as a whole, if that's what it is, then yeah, I'm a feminist. But I don't agree with certain modern day feminists.
What don't you agree with exactly? I need you to be quite precise,
for instance,
please.
It feels like it's gone from a case of being equal with a man to wanting to be above a man. Now we are oppressing the man. That's what it feels like. Oh, I don't need a man, I don't this. And then there was another article recently where some women were saying, oh, you know, a man can walk around topless, so then women should be able to walk around topless. I think, okay, come on, we're going too far now. Yeah. And then also about roles and stuff like that. It's just a case of, okay, I can do the same job as you, Bimbi. Oh, I can. I'm just letting you know.
Let him know.
I'm just letting you know. But, you know, in regards to being at home, for instance, our body, our makeup is completely different, okay? So you can lift heavy items. Maybe I can't do that. I'm sure I can't.
Why are you lying?
I don't want to touch you because, you know, it will lead into that, isn't it?
Hey, wait, Monique, you'll lead into what?
Well, this is another thing.
Are we romancing or NONI? Hey.
This is another thing as well. Even the way we treat men. Like a man can say to me, oh, you know, you're cute and stuff like that. And then the minute a woman says it to a man, it's like, it's double standards, isn't it? That would be sexual harassment on my side if we were at work, for instance. But if I was to do it to you or squeeze your bum or anything like that, it's completely different. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, sorry to go on to that.
But I mean, the question is that, is that actually the fault of feminism, or is it people like actually attributing things that are not true to feminism? Because a lot of people say that, oh, well, you know what, feminists hate men, and I'm just like, wait, hold on, misogynists hate men. They are people who hate men, just like they're misogynists, they're men who hate women. Not every feminist is saying like, listen, I don't want men or whatever, but the truth is that we live in times where you have to be very, 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 very careful.
And that's the reason why, honestly, again, I must say, maybe I don't just have my finger on the pulse. Again, we must say, what is feminism? Because it seems that everybody seems to have some kind of a different view of what feminism is. Are men and women, should they be equal? Should they have equal opportunities? Absolutely. But should I then say that marriage, maybe I don't need a man, if I'm walking through a door, don't open it for me just because I'm a woman.
But you see, the thing about it is that that's not feminism. But you know what? It's
people
meant to
say
be. They
it is.
attribute it to feminism. And you know, that's it. This all started with the wave of Gloria Steinem in the 1960s. Now, there was a young black woman who apparently wrote a book on feminism, and it actually came out a little bit later that she didn't write that book. Now, the reason why people attribute that to feminism is because it was a tool to break down the black family. Do you understand what I'm saying? There was a time in America where, listen, black women were like, listen, we don't need a man, we're feminists, we can do this. But when you actually look at what's going on behind the scenes, you actually realize that this had absolutely nothing to do with feminism and everything to do with the political agenda that was going on at that time. So I feel like sometimes feminism gets a really, really bad rap, because the truth is that we're not even just fighting for equality. For me, what I think the definition of feminism is allowing women to reach their full potential without being held back with any glass ceiling.
Good, but but really, are we just attributing things to feminism? Because from what you said, in the fourth wave of feminism, it has come to the point where it's almost like, I can do this alone. I don't need a man. If a man opens the door for me, it's a thing. If you know, do you understand? So what? I don't know whether to say the feminist, because I'm a woman, so I guess I fall under that category too. What is the definition of feminism? Or is it a situation where you have something, but there's some radical offshoots who go off, and like, you know how you have some people who are like radical people, you like maybe like people who burn people at the stake and stuff. You know, is that just what this is about? Or is it that truly this is what feminism is, this radical thing? Or is this just a sort of like an offshoot or a splinter group?
It is. I mean, to a certain extent, I feel like every ideology that has come out literally has its own offshoots or splinter groups. And people are a little bit radical sometimes, but the fourth wave of feminism, just to reiterate, is really to fight around key issues that include the fight against street and workplace harassment, campus sexual assault and rape culture. And the thing is that a lot of these things, the reason why feminism is evolving is because we as people were evolving. So we're starting to realize as women, some of the things that were acceptable in the 70s and the 80s are just no longer acceptable now.
Because if it's against rape, the rape culture, all the Me Too movement, then great. Of course, nobody should be groping anybody in the office or making anybody feel uncomfortable. Absolutely not.
It should be on both. No, 100%, 100%. But you know what, guys? No. Don't. We do have to go away for a short break. We don't have all the time in the world. But don't worry, guys, because we'll be back shortly. And when I come back, I want to ask my panel whether they think the word women has actually been hijacked by modern day feminists. Okay, guys, see you after the break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to NONI with me, Mercy Ajisafe, and I'm having an amazing time because my panel, my guests, Amaka Chika and Bonu, Bimbi Phillips and Monique Pink are absolutely giving it. Honestly, we're right in there dissecting this issue, so we've got to get right back. Before the break, we were discussing whether modern day feminists are misguided. Now, a few of my panelists think that they definitely are. But now, panel, we're taking it a little bit further. I want to know my panel's thoughts on the way the word women is being used today by feminists. So we have the women's movement, women's studies, women's march, etc. Now, do they agree that it gives the impression that all women think one way? Should we be using a different term instead? Because the truth is the word feminist and the word women are not mutually exclusive. Bimbi Phillips, do you feel like the word women has been hijacked by feminists?
Yeah. Because I don't know why people make things complicated. If you don't, like I heard about someone coming up with another definition of, or another word for woman, because it includes men. And I'm not even sure what they're going to come up with, but I think they have their experiences and personal experiences, and something led to that. And I think they need to define what led to that to be sure that they don't carry everybody else in the wrong direction.
Monique, do you think that the word women has been hijacked by feminists?
I do think so. I think that they've taken over I say they've taken over like I'm not a woman, but you know, I feel like everything, I just feel like it's an excuse for feminism, if you know what I mean. And it just, going back to the point before as well, of them being misguided, it just seems as though everything is about women. And hey, I know that this seems like crazy with me saying that I am a woman, I know, but
just checking.
Like we've gone past the stage of equality. Like I said, how far are we going to go? Like, you know, should there be a men's day, a men's march, a men's, do you know?
But you know what, let me flip that on its head. How do you feel when people say that? Why all this black stuff, you know what, should we have the black British, you know, Miss Black Great Britain, all this black stuff, why have black magazines, all of that is racist. The reason why we have these divisions is because we were not being represented in the first place. So we had to come out with, hey, you know what, there's black people in Great Britain, there's black women, despite what the media may want to tell you, there is a lot of very, very beautiful, very intelligent, very talented black women who deserve the title of Miss Great Britain. So you know what, they were like, you know what, let's do our own, you know. That's why this happened. So the women are saying that, listen, the reason why we have all of this is because, you know what, and this is a question I'm going to throw to you, Amaka, because do you feel like there is a part of men's privilege that doesn't really allow them to understand why feminism happens? Because one of the things that I've realized is that while I do agree that for me, I'm not a misandrist in any way, shape or form. I am a proud womanist, but I'm not a misandrist. I think it's very important. We both need each other. Men and women have equal parts to play. We have different parts to play, but we both need each other. Now, there seems to be a lot of, you know, there's a lot of animosity from men with this whole feminist movement. And I wanted to ask you whether you feel like it is their privilege that is blinding them from the plights of women and why we actually need feminism.
Absolutely, I do agree with you. And I'd say more so, and I might receive a bit of flack for this, for the man of, I don't know what's politically correct to say. Is it the black man, the man
African
of black,
man? You want to say
the African
the
man,
melanated man?
Exactly. When I say the African man, I include
like
Jamaicans, all of them. So I'm just looking for the word that is politically correct, because you know these days you can't say this, you can't say that.
The melanated
but
man.
Exactly.
New one, hashtag.
Actually, yes.
I usually say
I
melanated
love that.
king.
Exactly. I love that word. So it's actually kind of privileged and entitled. So yes, do they not understand this because of that? Absolutely they do. And that may well be why the woman or certain women or certain feminists feel they have to be a little bit more kind of in your face about it. There is a space for that kind of argument. True. But yeah, I do agree with you that men are not understanding it because there is a sense of privilege, a sense of entitlement, especially for the melanated man, more so for the Nigerian man. Let me just go there.
Please, enter.
Let me just go there.
Enter.
This is the best time for me to actually...
Please,
This is your time. This is your time now.
You know, this is your time. Talk.
So I think I will talk from my own personal experience, which might not, people might say is not
real.
Is a probably lower percentage of women. I don't think all men like that. I wasn't.
I agree.
I wasn't raised like that.
Well, definitely, there's an exception to every rule. There is.
I think that people mistake man's natural pride to that. Men are naturally proud.
Yeah, there's the male ego, but I will respond to that.
Yeah, but I think people kind of mistake that, and I'll give a real example.
Please.
So my dad never believed that my mom should work. Would you say he had that issue? Now, but he never also believed
what were his reasons? Some people don't believe that women. Please,
so,
what were his reasons?
But same way, he didn't believe that we, as his children, should work growing up. He thought that you're under his roof, it's his responsibility to take care of every single person.
Well, he had
but that's my point. Bibi, you didn't actually answer my question. What were his reasons for him not wanting your mom to work? Is it because he wanted her to stay at home and be with the children, or because he wanted to control her? There's a difference.
That's what I'm trying to get.
Oh yeah, let's hear it now.
That's why I said he believes it's his responsibility to take care of his household. And if you go out there and trying to work and look for money, he makes him feel like he's not doing his job properly. So it wasn't just to my mom, it was to all of us. And I had to fight my way out of the house to learn. Now, that was his personality. But if you interpret that from the modern way, you would say his actions are wrong and all that. But that's his personality. And you need to understand the difference between people's personality from feminism.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm trying, because you see, the thing is, I have this syndrome. I call it, I'll actually write a book on it. It's going to be one of the books I write in this lifetime, God willing.
Amen.
Called The Benevolent Dictator.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So why I say that is because he probably didn't have any motive. He may not have had any nefarious motive in whatever. And your mom agreed to it. She probably was okay with it. But I guess, and again, that is her prerogative to be okay with it if your dad proposes that. and I don't want us to get personal here, but if a man, let's say, if a man proposes that his wife not work,
you know what?
but what if the woman doesn't want
What
to?
if Mr. Chika and Bonu said that he didn't want you to work?
I just don't want him even to go into that because, I mean, he's been quite bare here. I said for a long time, I was a wife and a mother.
Because that was your choice, right? You
I agree
chose.
to it.
Yes.
And that's why I'm saying, you see, we have to be very careful because is it oppression if the man says that and you agree to it and you're fine with it?
If that's your choice, then I don't think that can be considered
That's the thing.
as oppression.
But I'm thinking, and I don't know if I'm right, that feminists would probably say, you're betraying womanhood if you did that.
But that's now, that's a misguided feminist. That's one of the feminists that we're talking about because the true feminist is fighting for the equality and freedom of women, for you to have the choice. So if you have the choice, listen, let me tell you now, I'm a womanist. When I get married, I am staying at home for the first 5 years with my children because that is my priority, but I have the choice. What I don't like is when you meet men and they're like, oh, this TV thing that you're doing, when we marry, you'll stop it. That's when you're now like, you're trying to dictate terms.
Yes.
That is a completely different thing.
And so I want to believe that feminism, and the feminists can correct me if I'm wrong, is to give the women that power, that choice, that whatever, to choose what they want to choose.
You know what? This is one of these topics that we need at least 2-3 different episodes just to cover it because you know what? I have to say my panel on fire.
Wow.
I just need a one-word answer from all of you. So, do we think that modern-day feminists are misguided? Monique?
Yes.
Bimbi?
Yes.
Amaka?
Yes.
Well, there you have it. The results are in. The general consensus is that modern-day feminists are misguided. But I do have to reiterate that there is a massive difference between feminism, womanism, and, of course, misandry. Now, please, nobody is saying, just the same way I really have a massive problem with misogyny, I have a massive problem with misandry. You know, we need each other. It's very, very, very important. And it's imperative that we understand we all have different roles to play. Play nice, children, play nice. Well, guys, you know, that's it, guys. I have to go now. That's all from me, Mercy Ajisafe, and my absolutely amazing guests. I'm talking about Amaka Chika and Bonu, Bimbi Phillips, and of course, Monique Pink. Thank you for joining me, and don't forget every single episode of NONI, past, present, and of course future, is available online at yangatv.com. So wherever you are in the world, yes, you on the other side of the world, you can still watch this show and other amazing content from Yanga. Join us again soon for more entertaining chats. Goodbye.